So, 2019 did happen, right? Like, I can't be the only one who feels like we should still be in June or something, can I? Well, I was raised to blindly trust the social construct of time, so if the calendar says that it's the end of the year, then hey, I won't question it. And you know how we round out the year on this channel. That's right, it's time for YouTube Rewind 2019. Me Edition. This is the history of YouTube in 2019. So naturally, let's start in November of 2018. You guys remember Defy Media? Defy was one of those big multi-channel networks, a company that represents various YouTube channels, offering them special benefits for a cut of their revenue. And Defy was one of the big boy MCNs, boasting channels like Smosh and The Game Theorists. Well, back at the tail end of 2018, Defy pulled a Telltale Games and shut down out of nowhere with no warning, putting tons of people out of a job. And that was a huge story in 2018. But things got even more serious in January of 2019 as MatPat released a video where he claimed that Defy had stolen a collective $1.7 million from 50 creators through some shady business practices. See, MCNs are like a middleman, with YouTube sending money to them, and after they take their cut, then it gets sent to the YouTuber who earned it. Defy only kept a small cut of each of those checks, but Matt claimed they'd use the full income amounts to falsely advertise themselves to investors. Look at all this money we make. Well, the majority of that money goes to the YouTubers. But once the company shut down, a huge amount of money was never paid out, instead being stuffed in a bank. Unfortunately, from what I can tell, this whole Defy story doesn't really have much of an end. The most we got in terms of closure was with Smosh. These guys weren't just partnered with Defy, Defy owned them. So when the company shut down, Smosh, one of YouTube's most legendary channels ever, was just homeless overnight. But luckily, on February 22nd, it was announced that Smosh had been acquired by Rhett and Link's production company, Mythical. So there was at least some kinda happy ending within all this chaos. And while we're following up on stories from last year, let's shift gears, lean back our reasonably priced gaming chairs, pound back some G Fuel, and talk about PewDiePie. When we last left Felix, he was going up against the channel T-Series to maintain his throne as the most subscribed channel on YouTube. This meme went on way longer than expected, and eventually evolved into a race to see who'd be the first channel to hit 100 million subs. And Felix continued to play into this meme at the start of 2019. That is, until April 28th, when Felix announced that he was officially putting an end to the subscribe to PewDiePie meme. He said he was grateful for the support, but felt the whole thing was getting out of hand. People were using the movement to grab attention in extremely negative ways, and he said the whole thing just stopped being fun. So he made the decision to end it. T-Series did end up surpassing PewDiePie, becoming the first YouTube channel ever to hit 100 million subscribers on May 29th, 2019. Speaking of massive changes in subscribers, we should probably talk about the 2019 beauty guru drama between James Charles and Tati Westbrook. Now, this is a very complicated situation that gets real personal for the people involved. So for the sake of time, here's an incredibly simplified version of what happened. YouTuber James Charles promotes a product from the rival company of his friend and fellow beauty guru Tati Westbrook. She's hurt by this and takes to her YouTube channel on May 10th to release an over 40-minute video to express her frustrations. But then, more importantly, she accuses James of allegedly abusing his fame and power to manipulate and harass men. These were some serious allegations, so naturally this story spread all over social media. James put out an apology video soon after, but it didn't stop the backlash. James lost around 3 million subscribers in a matter of days, and Tati gained about the same amount in that time. But then, things kinda took a 180. On May 16th, Tati uploaded a new video saying she thought the backlash had gotten out of hand, while also explaining why she made the video in the first place. Adding that she didn't hate James, she just wanted to put out a wake-up call to him. And a couple days later, James uploaded a new, more thought-out response where he attempted to give his side of the story and defend himself against all the allegations. And this actually managed to kinda tip the scales back in his favor as he started regaining some of his subs. Not everyone was convinced though. Tati said the video was still full of lies. But from there, things just kinda fizzled out as everyone involved presumably started handling things privately, which they really should have just done from the start. Whew, okay. So with all that said, we've had two major stories that, in one way or another, involved rapid change in subscribers. And anytime drama or competition gets going on YouTube, there would always be people screenshotting or live streaming the real-time subscriber change. This was the kind of thing that helped fuel the public discourse around the sub to PewDiePie movement, the James Charles scandal, and more. So when YouTube came out less than a week later announcing that they would be getting rid of real-time detailed subscriber counts, it wasn't that surprising. So, that was a lot. Let's lighten things up a bit and shift the spotlight back to PewDiePie. With the T-Series battle over, what would be the next step for such an ever-evolving channel? The answer?
Good morning, gamers!
Yes, 2019 marked the return of Minecraft. And while Felix wasn't necessarily the first YouTuber to bring Minecraft back, he is a proven trendsetter. So when the biggest, well, second biggest channel on YouTube basically becomes a Minecraft channel overnight, naturally it helped cause a ripple effect across all of YouTube. And the Minecraft series was a huge success for Felix, once again breathing new life into his channel and putting him over the top to become the first individual on YouTube to surpass 100 million subscribers. Hey, it finally happened! He got his play button and it broke immediately. Woo! And seriously, Minecraft came back with a vengeance this year. Like, you remember in my 2018 recap when I said this? I don't think a single game has been this much of a dominant force online since, I don't know, Minecraft? Well, look at that. A year later, and not only is Minecraft back, it's even rivaling Fortnite in popularity. Clearly, I have some kind of clairvoyance, so now I predict that 2020 will be the year of, I don't know, burger time? Alright, so at this point, we're up to October, and this was around the time I started thinking about what I would talk about in this year's recap. And honestly, a lot of big events in 2019 just felt like 2018 round 2. We had another massive Shane Dawson docu-series, we had KSI versus Logan Paul again, more PewDiePie vs. T-Series, more Fortnite, etc, etc, etc. And for a while, I was starting to worry I wouldn't have enough material to fill up an episode. But I said, it's only October. Maybe something big will happen between now and the end of the year. 1 month later. Okay, this was not what I meant. Alright, let's talk about COPPA. So, back in September, a settlement was reached between YouTube and the FTC for $170 million. This was the result of the FTC claiming YouTube and Google were allegedly violating the Children's Online Privacy and Protection Act by, again, allegedly collecting information from users under the age of 13 without parental consent as a way to serve targeted ads to those kids. But it was more than just the money. YouTube also had to create and enforce new guidelines to better regulate how ads are served and who they're served to. And once these new rules were presented to the YouTube community, everyone got worried. Everyone. YouTubers now have to mark their videos as being targeted to kids or not. And if they are targeted to kids, they'll lose personalized ads, which could make up anywhere from 60 to 90% of their income. And if you mark your video as not made for kids, but it's decided that you're wrong, you could be fined up to $42,000 a video. And again, that's kind of an oversimplification. These new rules and regulations will be fully implemented next month in January 2020. And no one really knows what's gonna happen. There's definitely plenty of reason to be nervous. And people online have not been shy about letting their concerns be heard. A Change.org petition to combat these new rules currently boasts over 850,000 signatures, and people have been submitting comments to the FTC for over a month. Hey, Editor Fofi here with an update. So, since writing this video, YouTube and the FTC have both published updates on the COPPA situation, answering a lot of the questions the YouTube community had and just generally giving better clarity to the whole thing. Legit, while editing this episode, YouTube released a new video about the situation that, among other things, explained that just because you make animations or Minecraft videos, that doesn't mean you'll be viewed as a kids channel. And that was one of the biggest concerns I was seeing about COPPA. So this is a good development. Yeah, the way COPPA will affect YouTube in 2020 is still kind of an unknown, but I'm happy to say that an initially terrifying and confusing situation may not be anywhere near as bad as we thought. But now, on a serious note, I wouldn't feel right making this video without mentioning one of the biggest tragedies we saw this year. Back in June, after a long battle with mental illness, we lost beloved streamer and YouTuber Etika to suicide. This shook the YouTube community to its core as we all mourned the loss of someone whose work was a real beacon of light for so many. And in the aftermath, it really has placed a much bigger emphasis on just how important mental health is. How we can't just ignore it. So if you or anyone you know are going through tough times of your own, I'll leave links in the description to proper help channels. Just know you're not alone. There's always hope. So before we round out the year, let's end on one last story of hope. Team Trees. This all started with a YouTuber I really should have made a brief history on by now, Mr. Beast. This guy's known for his philanthropy and his big, extravagant videos. Dude's also a fellow North Carolinian, which is pretty dope. But on October 25th, Mr. Beast launched a charity initiative called Team Trees, partnering with the Arbor Day Foundation to plant one tree for every dollar raised. And the ultimate goal was to raise $20 million to plant 20 million trees by January 1st. And that sounds like an astronomical goal, like an impossible number. But wow, has it gone over well. At the time of this video, the campaign has raised $18 million with about a week and a half remaining. So hey, if you want to donate to Team Trees in its final stretch, just go to teamtrees.org. $1 is one tree that wouldn't have existed otherwise, so legit, any amount helps. So we may not know what the future holds for YouTube. We're at the end of a year full of drama, scandal, big change, and tragic loss. And we're about to turn the page to begin a brand new decade. We don't know what'll happen. And it's okay to be nervous. But like I say pretty much every year, things on YouTube might not be great. Heck, sometimes it feels like they're only getting worse. But the people on YouTube are passionate. They put their heart and soul into what they do. They make their voices heard and they fight for what they believe in. They put good into the world. And as long as that stays true, in 2020, I know we'll find a way. So thanks for watching, guys. Happy New Year, and DFTBA.